Just gonna do something first before I continue with my, thing. I want to learn more about my leader, if you know what I'm saying. It's better to know your friends and your enemies. Better to know your allies first before knowing your enemies. Since you might not know who you're dealing with. This sounds terrible. Good, it's over. Looking for forts. There you are. It's the main fortress of, you know, Kaiser and the Legionaries.
By order of...
Yes, so I've been told.
Oh,
To the Kaiser. Man, it's taking a while to get my stuff back together. Hey, where's this dude? Wait, that's kind of like Co. I just went through there. Actually, that's my favorite for not go through again. Yeah, I suppose that's true. Well, I see my new robot glove. It fits so well with my new armor. Even if it's out of shape. Actually, it's not right. Ooh, Santamon Moon's Power Fist. Hey. There, now that was impressive.
Hey, anything going on?
Not really. Just dangerously curious about her leader. I mean, I did save his life and all that jazz, but one can't be too sure.
Kaiser lives.
I like your... I'm glad to see you need to find your arc again.
You know everything you need to know.
I have some questions to ask of you.
Even with a president to kill, you have questions?
Not about him. How did you capture Benny?
I'll hand it to that piece of shit. He was determined. He used some kind of old-world stealth device to get across the river in a Legion boat.
Not bad.
Seems the device ran out of juice once he got here, but he was dressed like a legionary. He was caught just outside the weather station.
How'd you know it was
See,
him?
thing is, He didn't change his hairstyle.
Oh, that explains a lot.
To go to all that effort and fail because you're too vain to muss your hair.
That guy really was an idiot. A part of a disguise to make sure nothing makes you stand out and make sure you associate with someone else entirely that you're up against. That rule was null when he arrived here. I'm glad that guy has been taken care of. So what happened to him after he was caught?
He was brought before me along with the platinum chip. That's how I knew he wasn't some kind of profligate infiltrator. Benny tried to sell me a story, but Lucius has a way of coaxing the truth out of captives.
I see.
Everything just comes spilling out.
Let's talk about something else entirely.
What else did you want to know?
Are your bodyguards special in any way?
My Praetorians embody the martial ideals of my legion. Each one of them has done enough conquering and killing to deserve the rank of Centurion. Instead, I invited them to join my guard. So the invitee chooses whichever current guard he thinks is weakest and challenges him. The fight is to the death. It keeps them from getting complacent.
Complacent? I don't know what it means, but I see. So, how long has Lucius Lucius have been the head of your Praetorians?
Lucius has been the head of my guard for 5 years now. He was a subordinate guard for 8 before that. No invitee has dared to challenge him yet. Maybe it's an issue of respect.
Let's talk about something else for now.
What else?
Tell me more about this Vulpes Inculta.
Vulpes is the best of my frumentari. A remarkable individual from an unremarkable tribe south of the Utah. He was brought into the Legion as a boy, survived training, fought well enough as a legionary to be promoted to the rank of Decanus.
Decanus
And in battle
Vulpes.
against an unimportant tribe, he broke ranks and led his contubernium through a hole in their defenses to capture its chieftain. Well, his Centurion wanted him crucified for disobedience, so I made him a frumentari.
Frumentari? What do the Frumentari do?
Whatever I require. Infiltration, assassination, dramatic atrocities to break the spirit of the enemy, etc. They're mentally
Etc.
flexible. They operate behind enemy lines for extended periods, imitating the enemy's customs without becoming sullied. In all of these things, Vulpes is a master.
No wonder I was able to find him so quick.
What else?
I heard rumors about your legate Linnaeus. What's his story?
Linnaeus is the greatest of my battlefield commanders. Some might call him a great man, but I'm not sure he qualifies.
He seemed all too
He's
fanatic.
the greatest warrior of the Hydebarks, a tribe of the Arizona. Maniacal in battle. Sometimes he'd ambush Legion patrols by himself. When after several months we found and surrounded the Hydebarks camp, their chieftain raised a banner of surrender. The warrior, who was not yet Linnaeus, went insane with rage. He struck down his chieftain and attacked his own tribe.
He's a traitor then. He shall be taken care of as quickly as possible. Possibly diplomatically. So what happened when Linnaeus attacked his own tribe?
He killed 15 before they brought him down. He didn't die, obviously.
They captured
I
him.
had him tended to. He was maimed, most of his face torn off. It was days before he regained consciousness.
So that's why he wears a
When he
mask.
did, I went to
To hide his
his bedside and
features.
showed him the helmet I'd had forged to cover his face. I said he could have it if he'd fight for me. He accepted, on condition that he be allowed to kill the surviving males of his tribe. I said, make it the adult males, and you have a deal.
It sounds more like a savage in general.
Linnaeus is savage. Savagely loyal, too, but only to me. He has no love for my legion. But this has its uses. He has no attachment to his men, no compunction about battlefield losses. All he cares about is destroying the enemy.
You're
When
a
another
complicated guy,
legate or a
Linnaeus.
Centurion fails to achieve results, I send Linnaeus to make things right. His first step is to beat the failed commander to death in front of his assembled troops. Then he orders the ritual of decumatio.
That, Decumatio.
It means decimation.
Oh,
But in
okay.
ancient Rome, the word had a very specific meaning. A punishment for cowardice. The
Really?
legionaries are lined up in ranks. Every 10th man steps forward and is beaten to death by his brothers. It instills a certain robust obedience.
Lanius will lead an assault on Hoover Dam.
Yes. This time my legionaries will be more frightened of the commander behind them than the enemy before them. There will be no failure this time, no retreat, no years of gathering slaves and resources for another assault. With Linnaeus
Risky,
to drive the
but it
legion
sounds
forward,
worth it.
the dam will be taken. It will be our bridgehead across the Colorado.
Why did Legion lose the first battle?
It's not going to happen again.
I heard the commander of the first battle called the Burned Man.
And I've heard it's a bad idea to tempt the wrath of Caesar. Change the subject.
Very well, I'll talk to something else
What
entirely.
else did you want to know?
What do you think of the NCR? Those corrupt democratic people.
Do you want my opinion as a former citizen or future conqueror? Actually, my opinion is the same. As a young man, I was taught to venerate President Tandy of Shady Sands,
A respectful
the
woman.
founding mother of the
It's bad she died.
California Republic. Did you know her presidency lasted 52 years?
Odd.
And that her father, Aradesh, was the Republic's first president? Does that sound like a democracy to you? Or a hereditary dictatorship?
It kind of sounds the same to me. But I also heard that President Tandy was voted into office each time. Because he liked her each time, because she was respectable. And once after that was just corrupted.
Because the council didn't dare oppose her. She was too popular. She had the people's love. So
Interesting.
things ran smoothly, more or less. And as soon as she was gone, as soon as there really could be democracy, what happened then? Ever since losing its queen, the NCR has been weaker, more diffuse. Democracy has been its weakness, not its strength.
Indeed. It appears this freedom of speech has finally got into their heads. How is the NCR weak?
Greed runs rampant. The government is corrupt, accepting bribes from Brahmin barons and landowners to the detriment of citizens. The NCR is a loose conglomerate of individuals looking out for themselves. It's lost virtue. No one cares about the collective, the greater good.
Good idea,
It's not
bad
built to last.
people.
I'm just hastening the inevitable.
Surely the NCR is a powerful foe.
Of course, the most powerful my legion has faced. Also the first to which I am ideologically opposed.
Oh, really?
Until now, every tribe I've conquered has been so backwards and stunted. Enslavement has been a gift bestowed upon them. My conquest of the Mojave will be a glorious triumph, marking the transition of the Legion from a basically nomadic tribe to a genuine empire. Just as my namesake campaigned in Gaul before he crossed the Rubicon, so have I campaigned and will cross the Colorado.
So you saw, you shall come, and eventually you will conquer the NCR and the Mojave.
What else did you want to know?
What do you know about Mr. House before he tragically fell asleep for a long time?
I know he's dead. I know he's no longer a factor, that's all. Losers don't matter in the history books. He's a fucking footnote.
Indeed, let's talk to Mr.
What else
Charlie.
did you want to know?
What role will the regional powers play in this conflict?
I've analyzed the region's tribes to determine how they might be useful. I may tell you more at a later time.
This is a later time.
What else?
How did you rise to power?
Ironically, I was born a profligate myself. A citizen of the NCR. My family lived not far from the Great Boneyard. After raiders killed my father, my mother sought the followers' protection. I was 2 years old.
You were
She
following
worked at the
Apocalypse?
library, cooking and cleaning. I learned how to read, and soon I was taking courses, free of charge.
You were a follower of the Apocalypse. Well, that explains why you're so smart, and to be such a great leader. A brutal leader, may I add, but a pretty smart one, too. Having an insane man in charge of everybody else.
Oh yes, raised in that tradition. and the teaching stuck. I was taught it was my responsibility to bring the torch of knowledge to the waste. I may have taken the torch part more literally than they intended.
Knowledge is power. Especially when it's too much knowledge. You know, I have seen some people have been burdened with knowledge. They think it's a curse. I'm a gifted knowledge. And I see it very differently. It's not the curse is not knowing how to use it properly instead of being crushed by it. Instead, you must learn how to use knowledge. Not for just for gain, but for benefits. Know what to use know what you use this knowledge for. Not just know it.
When
Why
I
don't
was
you
20,
change?
the followers sent me east to Grand Canyon. It was my first expedition. Just me and a physician named Calhoun.
Who?
As an anthropologist and linguist, my assignment was to learn the dialects of the Grand Canyon tribes. What a fucking waste of time.
Well, knowing you, I can't really blame you for deciding to take them all down. Why would learning dialects have wasted time?
If you think it's worthwhile to make smart people learn how to talk like backward savages, you're a follower of the apocalypse. Or an idiot. Anyway, we met up with a Mormon missionary who already knew a bunch of dialects. Joshua Graham. He was supposed to teach me.
I know him.
But before that went too far, the Blackfoot tribe captured us to hold us for ransom.
That too.
They were a backward bunch. But the real problem was, they didn't know how to fight.
Idiots. Actually, wait, wasn't the Blackfoot tribe, the people I helped out there back in Zion? What was the Polite Legs? I forget. No, Polite Legs was evil. Joshua Graham was the Burn Man, right? Yes, it was. A dealt with murderer. What was wrong with Blackfoot?
The Blackfoot were at war with 7 other tribes, each just as pissant as they were. But outnumbered like that, they weren't going to last long. It's one thing to be taken hostage, another to be lashed to a sinking ship. So over Calhoun's objections, I decided to take certain steps.
Like what?
I taught them how to use the guns they already had, how to strip and clean them, how to breathe when pulling a trigger, how to reload ammunition. They looked at me like I was some kind of a sorcerer. So I taught them how to make explosives.
Your
I
knowledge.
started drilling them on small unit tactics. If there's anything I learned as a follower of the apocalypse, it's that there's a lot of good information in old books.
Indeed, I learned that. I mean, I didn't read old books back then, but I might have read some tragedies of the old days. I also learned from history. And that history will repeat itself, like it will now, shortly after. With Hoover Dam and you. So what happened after your train to Blackfoot?
Divide et impera, divide and conquer. I led the Blackfoot against the Ridgers, their weakest enemy. When they refused to surrender, I ordered every man, woman, and child killed. When next we surrounded the Kaibabs, and they likewise refused, I took one of their envoys to the Ridgers' village and showed him the corpse piles. This was new for the tribes, you see. They played at war, raiding each other, a little rape and pillage here, a little ransoming there. I showed them total warfare. Like I said, there's a lot you can learn from old books.
Yes, the old times were very brutal back in the day. Especially the plague. Run like the plague, I suppose. So I'm two of these tribes.
Kaibabs joined me, and the Fredonians after that. All the pissant tribes with names that should be forgotten. I knew from the start I'd need to eradicate this plague of tribal identities, replacing them with a monolithic culture, a uniform identity.
So a
that's
united
what I did
culture then.
Once my confederation of tribes was large enough, I crowned myself Caesar and created a single great tribe, my legion. I sent Calhoun, the follower captured with me back west, with a message that I should not be interfered with. Joshua Graham, the Mormon interpreter, stayed with me and served as my first legatus.
Oh? Hearing that sentence just now made me think you're a far cry from original Caesar. Why refuse so many times? You just immediately placed the crown on you. Not bad. But I also encountered Julius Caesar back in the times of Origins. And since forming the Legion, not only did it conquer other tribes.
That's right. Decades of warfare, absorbing lesser tribes, gathering power, forging the dross into a vast, razor-sharp scythe. My Legion's expansion has never ceased. Much of the Utah and Colorado and all of Arizona and New Mexico are mine. We have cities of our own, but nothing compared to Vegas. Finally, my Legion will have its Rome.
So, you're the new Roman Empire, eh?
What
Impressive.
else do you want to know?
You managed to change history. For yourself, actually. I'll call this Roman Empire 2.0 instead of just simply the Legion. Why is Kaiser Legion so strange?
I used Imperial Rome as the model for my Legion precisely because it was so foreign. I'd seen what had become of the NCR's attempts to emulate the culture of pre-war America. The infighting, the corruption.
Pre-war America was a
Rome was a
disaster.
highly militarized autocracy that effectively integrated the foreign cultures it conquered. It dedicated its citizens to something higher than themselves, to the idea of Rome itself. In Rome, I found a template for a society equal to the challenges of the post-apocalyptic world, a society that could and would survive, a society that could prevent mankind from fracturing and destroying itself in this new world by establishing a new Pax Romana.
What does Pax Romana mean? For Rome?
It means a nationalist, imperialist, totalitarian, homogenous culture that obliterates the identity of every group it conquers.
Oh, okay.
Long-term stability at all costs. The individual has no value beyond his utility to the state, whether as an instrument of war or production.
Hold on a second, that's what I mean in my mouth. Looking back in history, the Roman Empire did last longer until the Middle Ages, where it eventually fell apart. Whereas democracy, you know, the lay where the Greeks had it once until the Peloponnesian took it out. It falls apart. On America, it's only been around for 300 years, and already it's starting to fall. And some drawbacks here and there. Eventually, it will not stay. But we'll see what happens next. So, you'll destroy the NCR because it hates inefficiencies.
No, I'll destroy it because it's inevitable that it be destroyed. It's Hegelian dialectics, not personal animosity.
Oh, Hegelian dialectics. I never heard of these before. Except on a video, I forgot what they were.
How do I put this basically enough? It's a philosophical theory, the kind you might encounter if you took time to read some books.
Oh,
The fundamental premise is to envision history as a sequence of dialectical conflicts. Each dialectic begins with a proposition, a thesis, which inherently contains or creates its opposite, an antithesis.
Antithesis.
Thesis and antithesis.
Antithesis.
The conflict is inevitable, but the resolution of
course.
the conflict yields something new, a synthesis, eliminating the flaws in each, leaving behind common elements and ideas.
So what's dialectic about you in the NCR?
The bombs wiped the slate clean. Human civilization descended to a level of ignorance that effectively set our cultural progress back to zero.
Next thing's why nothing has
The
changed yet.
NCR has all the problems of the ancient Roman Republic. Extreme bureaucracy, corruption, extensive senatorial infighting. Just as with the ancient Republic, it is natural that a military force should conquer and transform the NCR into a military dictatorship. Thesis and antithesis. The
I'm not
Colorado
gonna correct you that time.
is my Rubicon. The NCR Council will be eradicated, but the new synthesis will change the Legion as well.
I
From
see.
a basically nomadic army to a standing military force that protects its citizens and the power of its dictator.
That's all I have for now, actually.
What else then?
Goodbye.
Complete your mission, then return to me.
That's the plan, my lord. Now make sure that your orders will be carried out.
Away.
For it is your will that will be passed on to Mojave. Knowing my leader now is into trying to forge a new Roman Empire Hegelian dialectics, or but I don't know, I forgot what we called it, but I think I'll set things straight with this idea. What? I should probably rest overnight, since I have a family that won't be up until morning. I'll give you an... Oh, it's already nighttime. What do you know? Nobody knows about my holdout weapons. Not yet, anyway. I don't have a sniper rifle on me, so how am I able to take out this guy? There's only one option. Okay, that was a bad idea. I can't believe I have to waste such supplies on myself. Can I at least heal myself up then? Oh dear, there goes all my food.
Highway. True to Kaiser.
I like to leave now.
Highway. Are you
I'm ready to return to Conway Cove.
Very well.
Was that so hard?